The campaign begins.
Right here. Emerge.
I will have order. Solidify.
Illusion shut.
Yahoo! Time for takeoff. Right here. Emerge. I'm always watching.
Now you shall perish! Shine down! There is no escape!
Think you can get away?
Order guide you.
Torn to oblivion!
Right now, right here, right now. Time for takeoff. Right here.
Shine down!
I will have order.
Brace yourself. Think you can get away? Right now, right here, emerge. A sight to behold.
This is order. Stabilize.
Let's play. Right here, right now. Time for takeoff. Yahoo! Emerge, right here, emerge. I'm always watching. Ha!
Illusion shut!
Yeah! Think you can get away? Right here, emerge.
Inazuma shines eternal!
Solidify.
Shine down!
Let's play! Time for takeoff. Right now, emerge, right here. A sight to behold.
Order guide you. Gather.
There is no escape!
Here we go! Emerge, right now, right here.
mighty be humbled.
Animal hypostasis simulation. Stand clear. Midnight Phantasmagoria. Don't get him, Uruguay. Stay put.
Bow your head. Be sanctified.
Enhanced animal module. Wings of darkness. Come, sever.
Settle down. Let the mighty be humbled.
By royal animal hypostasis simulation. Absorption test.
The tides beckon. Silence! Midnight Phantasmagoria.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue has an enduring aftertaste. In Inazuma, the water possesses a depth of flavor unlike any other. Sumeru's water, meanwhile, has a rich and complex flavor profile, but it must be savored patiently to fully appreciate it.
Swirl, mark, Oz, repeat.
Let the mighty be humbled. Bow your head. Settle down. The tides beckon. Be sanctified.
We've talked to all three suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many years. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that Talus probably only ended up with the gun because of circumstance. That makes sense.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice before he left home that day. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives would have been forfeit.
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his... makes sense. But besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite... It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the primordial seawater was revealed.
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd follow this lead to the end?
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the three suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? My father did really trust him. And they worked together on a large number of projects. Maybe that's how he got to know Jacques. And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford a large number of Gardamex. It's still really hard for me to imagine, though. After all, Uncle Marcel has been around since I was just a child. Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his own synth business? Florent? It is true, but as Spina di Rosula's advisor, his work mostly...
So you're saying he's too broke?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would be... Thierry, you say? Huh, but I didn't feel like he was lying when he was talking to us.
Yeah. Had he actually tampered with the mecha? If the mecha were taken...
Who could it be? You know, if If you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most suspicious of them all.
Could we be missing other suspects? Malus didn't know about the people turning into water thing when he narrowed it down to these three, did he?
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us, and even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in. We need far more solid proof before.
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been looking for you.
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something happen?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left.
Wasn't that place built specifically for
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that someone you know?
Yeah, we know him. Maybe even a little too well.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case.
Wait, how? None of our investigations have had anything to do with him.
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news right away. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's name.
I understand. Well, partner, what do you think we should do? We still haven't found any conclusive evidence. Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just since this is a trial about the serial disappearances case, the culprit's attention. You're right. This is our best opportunity. All right then. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be.
We'll help you, just like you helped us.
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver. When did you two get here?
We heard that you'll be leaving. It's our hope that...
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. Huh. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth production base. It sure does. Ah, you're right. An important place like this is bound to have a ton of protective measures. Navia's probably arguing up a...
It would appear that I must repeat my question again, Mr. Tartaglia. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing offers I've ever received. When I privately sparred with her last time, She was obviously holding back. Real disappointing.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect for a major case. This isn't the place for you to be looking for fights.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of
No. That's not what...
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going... In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again.
That case had nothing to do with him! You've got the wrong man!
Huh? What's going on? Why is she interjecting?
I told you it couldn't be one of the Fatui Harbingers.
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerate... But that was an exception rather than standard court.
Oh, please. Did you... We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue, and if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia...
Oh. A young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who is the person you would like to charge instead?
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières!
Huh? What confrérie? Never heard of them in my life.
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister organization?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter, and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you...
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Members of the guards, please contact... Mr. Marcel, you will not require...
Apologies. It all just happened. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding.
Very well. In that case, since both...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago, to the case of only through elucidating what really happened in that...
Navia, do you really think that I was the one who killed your father? Come on, why would I do that? Callus was my benefactor, and remember both you and I only ran to the scene when we heard the sound of a gun. If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that banquet a suspect as well?
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now. The audience doesn't even have the big picture yet. Even I'm struggling to remember some details of that case.
Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard two. When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect, Callis. The guards' investigation did not recover any other firearms from the scene. As a result, they concluded that the suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Callis was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the ensuing These are the known facts about the...
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. In truth, the third person shot Jacques. After that, the true culprit turned the third person into... Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information. This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callis, only for Callis to wrestle the gun. A pile of clothing was found at the scene. The guard, but now it is clear that the cloak, since it was raining that day, the testimony of however, unfortunately. Realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callis was responsible for Jacques' murder. This is the true version of events.
So that's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the primordial sea has been used for all these years?
What a great theory. It also explains Callis's and Jacques...
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime.
Ah, but I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? 1. Do you have the evidence to back up your claims?
I'm afraid not. At least not at this very moment.
Boo! If you don't have any evidence, you should just go home.
I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. We should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would...
Why do I feel like...
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing.
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after
My second question has to do with the ensuing Then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified...
I've thought about this too. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit. My father could have exposed it for all... At that time, what was certain how...
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been...
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have fought an all-out war with Espina right there and then. I would... Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter, but what good would that do? How had this opera house ever given my father any... But by staying silent, we retained the ability... I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what this opera house...
So, you mean to say, your father
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, I don't need your apology, your guilt, or your support from the shadows. But since he entrusted his will to you, Clarand, you should tell us the truth about his sacrifice.
So, during the duel, did you believe that Callis was intending to die?
Yes. I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of dishonored lives. In my line of work, I've seen all kinds of people give their all for the faintest hope to continue living. Some were just one look and I can tell. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callus never intended to leave the ring alive.
Since that's your testimony, I
concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father.
Right? What she said was fast.
Wait, weren't they just talking about—
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone. The culprit could only time their actions so precise. Coincidentally, Marcel attended—
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help it. I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child.
No need to appeal to pathos.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, on top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone—
Don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, you might still think you can reduce the list of suspects with some further investigation. Alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not— Do you know what the biggest flaw in your—
I suppose you're gonna tell me—
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason. In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business— But the disappearances began—
I do apologize, demoiselle.
No, it's not your fault.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? Would you like to check the date of my first— You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friend— Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the
Seems like she got the wrong guy.
At this rate, Navia will be convicted for falsely accused.
I think you've done a superb job of dissecting your father, but aren't you going against all of his wishes and He wished for you to become more rational, collected, and once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong into things.
This isn't just about me. And it never has been. The biggest difference between me and the rest of the people whose families were destroyed by synth abuse, the people who— Many people's images are flashing, and whose— Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of—
I was waiting for you.